All right, we are live. Hi, everyone. I am Brittany, the Cosmic Lunar Soul. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you're new. And again, I have the lovely Priscilla with me from A Life Full of Simplicity. So, hi, Sil. Tell us a little bit about your channel.
Hi. Yeah, so I'm Priscilla. I own A Life Full of Simplicity. My channel is really about tarot and like unboxings mostly. So I unbox a lot of decks on my channel. I do other things as well. So I do planning videos as well as like monthly reflections where I dive into my own personal practices and I share that with my subscribers, plus new things that have come into my collection, such as decks, books, things like that. And I do talk about YouTube videos that really caught my eye in that specific month that I'm talking about. I do week ahead readings as well as upcoming releases videos for mass market decks, as well as a few other things like VRs, hauls, and things like that. So that's really the content on my channel.
Well, welcome. And for those of you who are listening or watching the playback, go ahead, check out Sil's channel. Or if you're on Sil's channel, check out my channel.
Exactly.
All right. So if you saw our last live, our last collaboration, we started talking about the different decks, different publishers, and we're going to pick up where we left off and talk about our favorite cardstock. So we've had a lot of discussions about this, and we're very excited. So go ahead, talk about what your favorite cardstock is.
Okay, so I have a few. Like, I have a few different examples here that I consider like my favorite kind of cardstock. So I'm going to start off with a deck from Liminal 11. So this is the Cosmic Slumber Tarot. Now the cardstock is similar to the Modern Witch, where it's their glossy cardstock. Now
Mm,
a lot of people hate this cardstock, and I understand, especially the people who like to riffle shuffle and bridge shuffle. It's understandable that, people don't really like that type of cardstock. But for
mhm.
me, it glides like absolute butter and I love it. Like I don't mind that it slides and things like that. Like I really
Yeah.
don't mind that at all. And I prefer it actually in when it comes to a cardstock. Also, the imagery is beautiful. I don't mind that it's glossy or anything like that, but I love this deck so much. And I think the cardstock is fantastic for my own personal practice. Of course, everyone's going to have their own opinions, which is perfectly okay.
For sure.
I actually have another glossy deck. So
It's so
I think
interesting that you like glossy decks so much.
not all glossy decks, and
That
I'll show a few options when we talk about our dislikes. But um, for example, the Tarot of Mystical Moments. So this is by US Games. It's published by US Games. They don't actually have a lot of glossy decks. Most of their decks are either matte or
like a matte
like
sheen.
a semi matte,
Yeah. Mhm.
I actually love their decks. Have no issues whatsoever with any of their cardstock when it comes
Oh,
to
okay.
US games. I absolutely love it. This deck is glossy, but it doesn't stick together. So again, it's not that type of gloss that sticks or anything like that.
Mhm.
It shuffles beautifully and I absolutely love it. Again, a lot of people may not like this type of cardstock because of that. They are also oracle size, so that could be also an issue for people, especially if you have smaller hands and things like that. And it's very
Mhm.
slippy, as you can see. Like I'm just doing
Yeah.
this, and it's very slippy. But for me, I absolutely love it. And this is actually one of my favorite decks, this one right here, and I use it a lot. So I actually love that it's easy to shuffle for me. And I don't
Mhm.
bridge or riffle shuffle, so
Right.
I know that the cards are not going to go everywhere when I'm doing the thing because I
Mhm.
don't shuffle like that. And I know
Yeah.
that if you shuffle like that, it'll probably end up everywhere. But if you do overhand, I feel like it's pretty easy to get the shuffling done well, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
And I feel like well, you don't read jumpers, right? So even
It depends. It
okay.
depends. Yeah,
Because I was gonna say with
sometimes.
slidey decks, it's better if you like to read jumpers because they're more
Yeah,
likely to pop out of the deck, but
yeah.
if you don't, then I guess it doesn't sort of work.
Yeah, it depends on the day and how I'm feeling and things like that. I usually can tell if
Yeah,
I misshuffled and things are going all over the place. So usually if that happens, whatever fell out, I'm not going to take it.
yeah,
If one card specifically comes out, like just one card pops out, then I'll read it because it's just
yeah,
one card. But if a few of them fall out, then I'm like, no, no, I didn't shuffle properly. Let's
yeah.
just put those back in. But
There's a clear difference
if
sometimes.
the card comes out again, then I'll take it. Like if I looked at those cards that fell out and I'm like,
Yeah,
okay, no, this is too many cards, and then I shuffle again, and then the same card comes out, then I'm like, okay, I'll take it now because
yeah.
why is it
I
coming
do
out
that
twice?
too.
You know what I mean?
I do that too. So for me, I you mentioned USA Games, and I think
Yeah.
this I don't know if my Centennial deck is USA Games, but this is the
Yes, that is. Yeah,
oh, is
that's
it?
US
Okay,
games.
that explains a
Yeah,
lot.
both of
'Cause
them actually are US games.
yes,
Centennial and that one.
I know that Ethereal Visions is USA Games, but
Yeah.
the Centennial box I got was like this big, so I haven't used it in years. But
Oh, okay.
I really like so the Ethereal Visions is what I guess I would count this as what you were talking about, like that matte sheen. It's not like semi gloss, but it's not like matte matte.
I would say it's like a semi matte.
Yes,
Like it
'cause it's
has a bit of a sheen to it, but it's still like a
see if I
matte
can.
kind
Yeah,
of thing.
like you can kind of tell there's a little sheen going on.
Yeah, I would say
So
semi matte.
it's like perfectly slidey, and then I feel like the perfect just it has that perfect
Yeah,
flick there. And I am a bridge and riffle shuffler.
yeah,
So to me, I feel like it makes like the perfect riffle. It just wants to come back together. And then I guess because they're the same cardstock, my Centennial is the same way. I like
yeah,
the Centennial a little better in the sense because slightly smaller. Like you can see the cards are slightly smaller for the Centennial.
yeah.
And
So
my hands are small, so I like it.
yeah, so they're a bit bigger than normal tarot
Yeah,
standard.
they're really tall. They're really tall cards.
Yeah,
Um, so I think for like my mass market decks, those two are probably my favorite.
yeah.
And then for I don't have any tarot decks by them, but new Hay House. I really enjoy the cardstock
Yes.
for the Hay House decks. So I have
I
the
also
stuff.
have an example for that
Yes.
because I also love I'm on the
And it's
same
just
boat as you.
so good. It's nice and firm, and then has like that same good flick, and it's the same sort of like semi matte. I was trying to catch the light, but I can't find it. There it is.
Yeah,
Same semi matte kind of feel. Um, and Oracle cards are bigger, so sometimes they feel flimsier,
yeah.
but these don't at all. And I love that about them.
Yeah, so a lot of people actually have a lot of issues with Hay House's new cardstock
Mm-hmm.
being too thin. And I actually have some examples for like some of their older cardstock that just
Oh.
was not great. But I also took an example of their newer cardstock. So I picked this up like the beginning of July. It's like the Priestess of Light Oracle,
Mm-hmm.
and it's in their new cardstock, so it is thinner. It is thinner, but it has a lot of flexibility. So shuffling this, in my opinion, if you're a bridge or a riffle shuffler, it probably would be great, in my opinion.
Way
But
easier.
it does shuffle really nice when it comes to overhand, in my
Yeah.
opinion. And that's what I love about it, because it doesn't clump, which some of their older decks in their thicker cardstock clumps a lot. Clump a lot.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So, do you have more favorites, or can we transition into the decks that we kind of don't like the cardstock?
Actually, I had two more favorites
Okay, yeah,
that I
tell me
wanted to
about it.
discuss because they actually go into one of them goes into the dislikes from that
Oh,
publisher.
okay.
So before that, I wanted to talk about Llewellyn, because Llewellyn also gets a really bad really bad rap for their cardstock.
Yeah.
Um But I actually love their cardstock. Their cards are actually smaller than standard tarot, in my opinion, a little bit
They
smaller.
they are.
Yeah, and they're great if you have small hands, in my opinion, to
Yes,
be
they
able to
are.
shuffle.
Like I can
They're
actually bend my fingers around the entire deck.
Yeah. Their cardstock is a bit on the thinner side, but it has a lot of flexibility, in my opinion. So
Yes.
when if you're the type of person that riffle and bridge shuffles, it'll actually snap back, which is
It
great. So
yeah.
it won't bend the cards. You won't have like a bend in them.
Mhm.
And for me, the type of gloss that it is, like it's not super duper glossy where um it'll stick together. They
Mhm.
glide really nice, in my opinion, as
They
well,
glide very well.
and
Almost
they don't clump.
on the verge. They're like on the tip of gliding too well. They're
Yeah, because I just got
not
one out. Oh, the
I,
hermit card, the Holly King.
oh, look at that. Let's see what my Llewellyn deck says.
I love the hermit card too. That's one of my birth cards. So, what a coincidence.
I like the Hermit card because it's like one of the first major arcana that I just really understood. All right, lovers. So
Ooh.
I love doing collabs with you.
So do I actually. So that's perfect.
It is. Um,
And my last favorite, just before we move on to
oh no,
dislikes,
that's I'm gonna add
is
another favorite too.
oh, okay, fantastic, fantastic. I chose to show this one by Los Scarabeo. It's their tuck
Mm,
box type, and it's from the Tarot of the Little Prince.
oh,
And this is like a semi matte, also, in my opinion.
okay.
The type of cardstock that it is,
Close to like
and
USA Games style.
yeah, so
Okay.
it's kind of like US Games like tuck box kind of decks, because they have a few
Okay.
like when they're older, but they're smaller also than US Games, in my opinion. I think they're the same size as the Llewellyn.
I love that size so much.
Same size, and I love it because it it glides nice,
Hmm.
but it's not glossy, because they're newer cardstock. If you buy like decks that don't come in the tuck box from them, they're very glossy, which I'll show in one of my other
Oh,
decks.
okay. So just to point out for people that were curious about Hay House, when did Hay House change their card stock? About when?
Ooh, I don't know, maybe 2 years ago.
Okay.
Because the first time I noticed that they changed their cardstock was in a deck that I bought last year. It was last February, I believe. It was the Shaman's Dream Oracle
Mm-hmm.
by Colette Baron Reed,
Oh,
Alberto
I love that deck.
Aldovo, and Jenna Del Grataglia, I believe. And that was the first time I noticed that they changed the
Hmm.
cardstock. And I was so excited because all of Colette's decks are so thick. Like the cardstock is so thick and they clump
Hmm.
together constantly. So,
Yeah, I have a deck that I think might be similar to that, and since you have it, we can always discuss that in the
yeah.
like card stock we don't like. But
Yeah. And the dislikes.
so for me, one of the card stocks that I really just love is actually an indie deck from the Philly Tarot. I love it. It's on the thicker side, so it's a little thick, and you can kind of see it holds the bend a little bit, but the cardstock just has this flick to it. And then also, I don't know, maybe I'm weird. Kind of like a book sniffer. The sound cards make when you shuffle.
Oh,
The way
yes.
that the way they slide together is like the perfect harmony of cards, and I
Oh,
can't
that's
explain
good.
it because these are definitely a little over thick, but the sound of just how they slide together it sounds like butter. It's like putting butter on toast. I love it. So and then also because they're thicker, they're a little thicker than like the everyday witch I have. See if you can see that a little bit. It's hard to tell, but I can still get my hand around it. So I feel like I always have a good grip on the cards. They're great size. So being a tad on the thicker side is fine for me. And they're that really slick matte as well. It's almost like a coated matte. I don't know how to explain it. If you ever had those coated matte business cards where they don't feel like paper, but they're obviously matte, that kind of feeling.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's hard to explain, especially with indie decks, because it's hard to reference other decks because usually they're so variable.
Yeah, because indie decks, right, they choose the cardstock from the manufacturer themselves, so
Hmm. But yeah, I Philly deck is probably one of my top, and then Hay House is another one. They kind of have similar cardstock,
mhm,
except like I said, I've never had a Hay House tarot deck, but the Oracle is a little thinner, I think.
yeah.
So it's kind of
The
similar
the
to that.
the tarot, their tarot, anyway, their most recent tarot decks from Hay House are actually the same as their oracle. They're just in tarot size.
Mhm.
So I think you'd like it if you ever bought like a tarot deck from Hay House. I think you'd
I think so.
like their cardstock.
I think so too. I
Yeah.
think so too. All right, so let's talk about the cardstock that may not be our favorite.
Okay, so the first one I'm going to talk about is actually from Los Garabel. So this is the Tarot de la Nuit. It's actually an English deck, just the name
Mhm.
is in French. Um, and this is their glossy cardstock.
I like that box though.
Yeah, the box style is great. I love that it opens
Yeah.
like from the top. It's really fun. It's hard, so you know that the cards are not going to get damaged compared to a tuck box, which the
Yeah.
corners could get damaged and things. But they are really glossy, like really
Mm,
glossy. But the thing though with this deck is that they don't clump together. So they're
okay.
actually not the type of gloss that sticks together.
Yeah.
They're just really glossy. They slip and slide also, and you think I'd like that because I like that from the US games and
Yeah.
from Liminal 11, and I don't mind it. Just if I'm comparing it to some of their other decks in the tuck box, I just prefer the cardstock here compared to this because these are
Right.
actually quite thick. So you won't be able to
Hmm.
probably riffle or bridge shuffle them as well as
Mhm.
with their tuck box decks. And that's why I put it
Okay.
in like sort of dislikes. Like
Yeah.
I
It's like in the
overhand, so
middle
it's
ground.
not it's not really a big deal for me because I overhand,
Mhm.
but if you're the type of person that riffle and bridge shuffles, you may not like this because it's actually quite thick in my opinion. Like
Yeah.
it's a thicker card. It's a thicker card.
And if you get too thick, that's how you build a permanent bend in the cards. So if I
Yeah.
tend to not enjoy shuffling them as much.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why I wanted to compare those two. Like I wanted to show a comparison with those two. And then the other ones are two of them are from Hay House. So this is the Good Tarot
Is this
by
old
Colette
Hay
Baron
House?
Reed. This is Hay House. The next one's Hay House. The other one is Liminal 11.
No, is this old Hay House or like
Oh, old Hay
um
House. Old Hay
okay,
House. This is very old Hay House.
okay.
Like it's from what year is this from? This is from 2017.
Oh, okay.
So several years ago. And this is their glossy cardstock. And their glossy cardstock is like high gloss, but it's
Mhm.
sticky. Like it sticks
Mm,
together. So you're
mhm.
like trying to
So it's like
shuffle
clumps.
and they clump together because they're
Mhm.
constantly sticking together.
Yeah.
And I really dislike that because I actually really love this deck. Like I love the imagery of this deck. I'm a big fan of Jenna's work. Like she always has like these really fun fantasy type of imagery, but I can't use this deck because it's constantly clumping together, and I feel like I'm not like
Yeah.
getting the
It's
cards
not a very good
that
shuffle.
yeah, it's really not a good shuffle at all. And they're constantly sticking together. Like you can just feel just the feeling of it. Like
It's like tacky almost like that,
yeah, you can
like
even
wet,
hear it.
almost dry paint. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really weird. And I have another deck from them that I got recently. It's their daily crystal inspiration cards. It's actually in
Ooh,
their old glossy cardstock also,
is it?
unfortunately.
Yeah.
But I still use it because it's just a crystal and like a keyword on it, so it's not a
Yeah.
big deal. But yeah, I hate shuffling it because of that feeling. You're like constantly
Yeah.
shuffling and
It's
it's
like
like weird,
gummy.
really weird,
Mhm.
really weird kind of cardstock, which I don't really like. Then on the opposite spectrum, still from Hay House, is their old matte cardstock. And their old matte cardstock is very rose petal kind of finish. Very smooth and soft, but clumps together like no tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like no
Rose petal
tomorrow.
finish, beautiful, feels great. Nightmare to shuffle, no matter how I shuffle, because I kind of do all the above, and nightmare.
Yeah, I love this deck very much. I do use it, even though it clumps a bit. I do use it. The difference between their matte cardstock now and so their matte cardstock now feels a little bit more papery compared to this. Like when you shuffle it, you can really hear it. Like it makes a nice shuffle sound. But these you won't hear anything because of the type of finish it is. It's a matte, but kind of like a semi-matte in my opinion. But these are also thick. So when you shuffle them, they also kind of stick together. So they clump a lot when you shuffle them.
Okay. Yeah, that kind of makes sense, especially if it's like very papery feeling.
But I prefer this to the gloss. So I rather have the clumpy matte than
over the clumpy gloss.
The sticky gloss. Yeah.
Okay. I can see that.
Yeah. And then my last one is not one that I dislike personally. Like I do love like I like that it's matte. And because it is a matte cardstock, it does clump a bit. I love this deck actually very much. It's the Mystical Medleys. This is also published by Liminal 11. And this is a really great deck. It's kind of thick in my opinion. They are kind of like a matte. I don't really know how to describe it too much, but it like feels matte, but it kind of feels a bit cardboardy in my opinion. But I don't mind it. I will say that when I first got it, it clumped like no tomorrow. It still clumps a bit.
So it's one of those decks where you kind of have to really break it in.
You have to use it for it to stop clumping. Like it's not as bad as it was. Like if you watch my unboxing of this, oh my god, it was clumping so much. But now that I've used it quite a bit, it's not as bad in my opinion. So with use, it gets better in my opinion. When it comes to Liminal 11 decks, like if it starts clumping in the beginning, just use it quite a bit and it'll eventually like break in a bit. The only thing is I don't know how good of a cardstock this would be to riffle or bridge shuffle. Like I don't know if this would be the kind of cardstock that would maybe end up with a bow or something like that because of the kind of cardstock it is. So I would just say like be careful with this kind of cardstock. Maybe you end up with like a weird,
like a whole mess, or it's just like half the deck like folded on itself. Yeah, I've had that happen. So someone from your channel, Stephanie Muniz, says, "Hi, Scylla. I love Mystical Medleys."
Yes. Hey, Steph.
Hi, Michelle. Welcome.
Yes. Hi, Michelle.
So for me, okay, let's talk about the ones that are sort of medium to me.
Okay.
I'll start with the so Wild Unknown. Actually, I like it, but it's kind of middle of the ground because it used to be my favorite when I had 2 tarot decks.
But yeah, me too actually.
So it's a good size, which I like, but definitely on the thinner side, and like it's really bendy. And the difference with this is it kind of likes to hold that bend because it's so thin. But
that one's definitely good to riffle bridge shuffle.
Oh, it riffles really well. So I do like that because it'll get a really good shuffle. But that's actually one of the reasons I read this deck upright is because it tends to flip itself very quickly. So there's no in between. It's either all upright or eventually 95% reversed. And I don't know how that happens mathematically when you're splitting the deck in half, but apparently that's how it works. So that was kind of like one of the reasons I kind of put that in the middle ground because it's a little particular.
Yeah.
But then,
Just a comment though on the Wild Unknown. I have the mini version. I don't know if you're into like minis, but if you were to get the mini version, the cardstock is completely different, just to let you know.
Is it?
Like, it's not the same cardstock. They didn't use the same cardstock in like the mini version. It's still nice. Like, it's a great cardstock, but it's not the same. Like, the feeling of it is not the same.
Interesting. Now I'm intrigued because I also know that not all the cards are exactly the same. Some colors been added, removed, changed, stuff like that.
Yeah, she only changed the Justice card. That's it.
Oh, was that it? Okay. I
Yeah,
swear
everything else is the same.
Okay. I kind of like the Justice card being like really bland, but
Yeah.
yeah, I do like the idea of that deck because it the mini deck, I mean, because it comes in that nice tin.
Yeah,
But since I got the minis of the Prisma and Cosmovisions, I think that itch has been filled. So another deck, like the cardstock, don't get me wrong, beautiful, feels amazing. It's like butter. Is my Wandering Spirit Tarot. This is an indie deck by Honolulu. She is a Lolita designer who has been interested in tarot and then developed a tarot deck. And I think she created I think she also created like tarot mats and tarot cards and stuff like that. I love, she's awesome. She's very sweet. The deck is very thick. This thing is like a thick meatball here. Hard to get your hands around. And then on top of that, because of the rose petal finish, it wants to clump. So like you see, it just kind of like, even when you pick it up, it kind of just splits like that. There we go. Like that's a good example. That happens a lot. So because they're thicker, because the deck is so thick, it's hard to get a good bridge. It's hard to get a good riffle there. So I tend to do like maybe one or two bridges and then just stick with overhand, especially when I use these for my live streams, just because my hands start to hurt after a while. So it's one of those decks that if you have a specific way of shuffling and you're trying to do something for longer than just one or two readings, your hands are going to get fatigued. And you're kind of forced into overhand shuffling. But I mean, the cards, they feel like butter. They feel so good. So
yeah, that's the best thing about rose petal finish is that they feel so nice and smooth. So, but they always clump together when you try to shuffle them.
Not good for shuffling at all. Another deck I have, actually you have it as well, is the illustrated the illustrated series. So this one happens to be the herbiary. The cards are really, really big and thick. I like the box. That's kind of cool, the little flip top. But the cards, they're monsters. These things are very thick. And I even tried, like I tested it to shuffle two decks into each other because there are only 36 cards. So theoretically, if it was like a tarot deck, but no, it didn't work. I can barely get my hand around it to even flick it in any kind of way. And they don't want to bend. They don't want to bend at all. There's no I mean, these are some thick babies here.
The thing with those decks though, like if you were to get the deck that comes with the actual large book, so they originally were books and they put like the deck in the back where you can like take them apart. They were like stitched or something and you had to like break them apart to like make them into the cards. Yeah, the cardstock is way worse in that though. It's like literal cardboard. You can't even like shuffle that properly. Apparently. I've seen it. So I think
paper, more or less.
Like yes, it's hard to shuffle those ones because they're oracle size and like they're a bit thicker. They're like I would compare them to like Hay House's old cardstock, like they're matte.
In terms of thickness.
In terms of thickness, yeah.
Okay.
And in terms of matte also, but to me, I'll take it over what comes with the book. Like the book is beautiful, it's beautifully designed, but the cards at the back, no, thank you.
And I, as even though I'm complaining about it, the cardstock's not terrible. It's it's still like really good quality. It's not going to fall apart. It's just general complaining as a bridge / riffle shuffler that
Yeah.
it's a struggle. So the last deck I have that falls into my like this actually made it to my worst shuffler list in my Tarot Extremes tag video.
Oh
This
yeah, I
is
remember that.
the Untamed Mysteries Tarot. It's beautiful, very, very pretty, very well done. This is an indie deck by the Wheel of Fortune Tarot.com. And the deck is lovely. Nice thickness, in my opinion, good size. And then the illustrations are lovely, but they are plastic cards. I've never had plastic cards before. So
Oh,
while they're resilient, that means you
very
can get them
flex.
wet. They're not, you can scuff them a little bit and they're kind of going to bounce back. They are
They're bendy.
they are slidey, like just they that happens a lot, even
Oh
just
yeah, they go
overhand.
everywhere.
And then another thing is when you're overhand, you have to be really gentle with it, or else it's gonna like kind of do that on you as you're overhand.
Oh, that would be the worst thing ever. Imagine you're shuffling and all of a sudden, and they just go.
Happens all the time.
And you
I've
have to like
kind of gotten
play,
used to
pick
it.
up 78 cards.
I even made that joke in my video. I was like, it's like a game of 50 card pickup.
Oh my god, that's funny.
So that means with rifle and bridge or riffle and bridge shuffle, it tends to explode more than not. So I try to get like one or two good ones in to get the deck all warmed up, and then I just overhand for the rest of the time because
Wow,
it's
funny.
not going to work out.
That's really funny though.
If you ever like go back and listen to some of my other lives, you'll hear it exploding in the background. You can hear it. It's rough. So I have one more. I'm gonna do like an honorable mention just because this is
I love it.
My most unique deck. It's my Spirit de la Lune deck.
Ooh.
This is another highly glossed deck. And they're round, so it's very unique.
Oh,
they're
round, yes.
Super slidey. They kind of remind me of. So remember how I was mentioning that Everyday Witch was just on the verge of being too slidey? These are too slidey. So they fan out really well. You know, the TikTok aesthetic of fanning the cards, perfect.
Yeah.
But because they're round, shuffling them is a little difficult. There's nothing to grab onto. But I like round cards, and also see, they're so slippery. The imagery is really cool. They have mandalas. They have let's see if I can find one here. No, there's one in here. They have like the moon phases, and then the backs have that cool holographic mandala effect going on.
Which Steph said that she loves. She loves the holographic finish.
It's so pretty, and it looks really good. Like it's perfect for like social media. This is my social media horror deck, and a lot of people really loved it. I just tend not to use it as much because I'm so clumsy.
Yeah, round decks. I have 2 round decks, and I think yours actually the size of it fits in the middle of both of them. So I have the Wild Unknown Archetypes, which is like gigantic. It's like bigger than my hand.
Yeah.
So shuffling that can be a little bit tricky, and they're matte, so they clump a lot when shuffling them because again, there's no edges, right, to like hang on to something. I'm constantly going really slow when I shuffle them. And then I have the tea leaf fortune cards, which are really small. They're like really, so those ones I have no problem shuffling because they're little itty cards. And those are matte. Those are US games, so it's just typical US game cardstock, which I love. But yeah, shuffling round cards, it can be very, very one wrong move and you'll be playing that game.
It's a wrap. So I think that wraps up our cardstock discussion.
Yeah.
So let's go into what we're excited about.
Oh my God, there's so much.
I know. So let's talk about like anything we've pre-ordered, kickstarted,
Mhm.
and then I know you've gotten some stuff in since the last time
Yeah.
we spoke. So just talk about some of the stuff that you are excited about that you've either recently gotten or you've kickstarted or
Yeah.
pre-ordered.
Yeah. So, some things that I'm excited about, like I'm excited for, well, it's already out currently, but I haven't gotten it yet. So it hasn't been added to my collection, which is the Urban Crow Oracle.
Mhm.
It was picked up from indie and became mass market by Hay House. So that's really exciting. I definitely want to get that added to my collection. I do have her Crow Tarot, MJ Cullinane. I have
Mhm.
her Crow
Mhm.
Tarot, and I really want to get the Oracle to pair with it because it's a perfect pairing, and I don't have any Oracles that pair nicely with that deck because her art style
Yeah.
is so specific.
Specific. Yeah.
Yeah. And then some things that I pre-ordered that I'm hoping to get. Steph. Yeah.
Too late. Too late.
Yeah. Too late. Too late.
Start your wish list now.
So one thing that I'm really excited for is actually the Pasta Tarot. So I pre-ordered that. It's coming out in December. That was also indie, picked up mass market. It was picked up by Clarkson Potter. I'm really excited. Their cardstock is really nice. It's like a linen cardstock. So
Oh.
if you've heard of the oh, what's that deck called?
Parrot Divine or something.
Yes,
Divine Tarot.
yeah, that
Yeah.
one. That's their cardstock is nice. Like I really like their linen
Mhm.
finish. So there's that one. I pre-ordered also the Fifth Spirit Element. That's also coming out by Hay House. It was also
Mm.
indie, picked up mass market. Um, I pre-ordered 2 other decks. No, one other deck, the Mushroom Tarot, but that's not coming out until next year.
Oh, okay.
I
Yeah.
think that's it for pre-orders. I think I only have the 3. And then other things that I'm excited about but haven't pre-ordered is the herbology, no, herb astrology deck. I don't know. It's by Hay House. It's coming out by Hay House, I believe. It's like a
Oh,
herb and astrology deck. So they bring like
interesting.
plants and astrology together. Very nice. I absolutely love it. They put a few pictures up, I think, on Amazon already, so you can definitely check that out.
Mhm.
If anyone's interested. Then other decks that I'm interested but can't get yet because of US games being US only. There's the Fyodor Pavlov Tarot, which I really want. That was also indie,
Mhm.
picked up mass market. There's the Pastoral Tarot, which I don't believe was indie previously. It was just a deck that Lisa Hunt created, and it's coming out by
Okay.
US Games. There's also the Lorenzi Tarot that's coming out. It looks so freaking cool. It's like really freaky
When is
art
that supposed
that
to come out?
so most of those are set to release in October.
Oh, soon then.
Yeah,
Oh.
so really soon. But I don't like I don't know if I'll be able to get them. I might have to get them
Mhm.
from Amazon.com, which is kind of inconvenient, but
Yeah.
I guess we'll see once they come out. Maybe they'll be on Amazon.ca, but I don't know. I don't know.
Eh.
But yeah, there's quite a number of decks, honestly. I do upcoming releases videos. So
Mhm.
right now I'm going to be doing them monthly. So I talk about all the mass market decks coming out and what's been picked up from indie to
Yeah.
mass market. So, but those
And
are
I
the ones that
know
I'm excited about.
I know we've spoken about this a few times, but I really hope the Dreamscape Oracle gets picked up mass market.
Oh,
The
yes.
one that pairs with the um Ethereal Visions one, the new one that he created.
Oh,
I
the
hope
Luna Vision version of
Luna
that deck.
Vision, yes, that's it.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
it.
it's Luna something. It
Um,
was Luna something. I can't remember what it was, but
I can't remember either, but I hope that gets picked up. That would be
yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
I have a few Kickstarters that are kind of in the works. I've one that
Hmm.
was supposed to have gotten here in June, but is running late. It's the Black Femme Tarot, and it's really
Oh, I've heard
exciting.
of that one.
It's created by this her handle on Kickstarter is a Lumalati, which is really cute. And it's based off of the Rider Waite system. So it's kind of a pseudo clone, I guess. But it's
Hmm.
all about, Black female representation, and
Yeah.
that includes like body types as well. So while
Mhm.
it's not my general style of deck, I'm still really excited because it will be the only deck in my collection of that style.
Yeah.
And it just, it feels awesome to support another Black artist.
Yeah, definitely. I've seen that deck and it was beautiful. And I love the
Hmm.
fact that people are creating like decks that are RWS based,
Yes.
but having the representation that the
Hmm.
the actual RWS doesn't have.
Yeah,
So yeah, I've seen pictures of that deck. That deck looks gorgeous. I would
I'm
add it
very
to my
excited.
collection if I could afford it.
I know that's the downside to Kickstarters, right?
Yeah.
So another one that I'm excited about is the Meraki Tarot. It's the second edition, and they created like a little
Yes.
workbook to go with it.
Ooh.
That I think is slated for November, so not too long. But
Yeah, a few
oh, the
months.
cards are
A few
so
months.
pretty. I can't wait to get it in my hands and like feel the cardstock. But it reminds me a little bit of the style of Light Seer if Light Seer had more nature and animals in it. That's,
Yes, I've
that's
seen that
kind of
deck.
what it
It's
reminds me of.
very nice.
Oh, it's really good. I mean, part of the reason I backed it was like, well, if it was nice enough to create a second edition, I'm on board.
I think it was actually really popular, and I
Yes.
think the first edition went out of print,
Hmm.
and people have been looking for it apparently. So maybe
Yeah,
that's
I
why
think.
they created another edition because of the demand.
I think in either in the campaign or in one of the comments or updates or something, the artist was saying how they didn't expect the first one to blow up the way that it did, and that was the reason for the second edition.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, it's gorgeous. So I hope the cardstock is gorgeous as well. The other one is actually an oracle deck. It's called Earth, Moon, and Shadow. I'm so
Ooh.
excited about
Okay, I
that.
need to look that up.
This is by Serafina Mesa. She's on Instagram as well, and I follow her. She's actually fairly local to me. She's in Baltimore. So I'm just
Ooh.
like, oh, I wish I could just drive up there and like we could look at the decks together.
Oh,
It's
this is
so pretty.
nice.
It reminds me of it reminds me a little bit of how Light Seers is if it was a little darker, and then
Yeah.
also has like that animal nature side as well.
Mhm.
There is an oracle deck that it kind of reminds me of, but I can't think of the name. But it's gorgeous, and I've seen a few of her flip throughs, and that is also slated to be delivered around November timeframe. So these are like my Christmas gifts to me.
I love it. I
And
love
then,
this like thunder and lightning card. Wow, that's so
isn't it?
gorgeous.
It's so beautiful, and she's just so talented. If you guys are interested, anybody listening or rewatching, she is on Instagram, posts the photos of her decks quite often, and it's just so gorgeous. The whole concept is really just so lovely. I
Yeah.
really like the I think it was, let me see, it was the Thunder and Blue Moon card that sold me. I was like, oh, I need this. The Thunder and Lightning card, which is one card, and then the Blue Moon card, which is
Yeah.
another card.
Yeah,
Really
the
just.
thunder and lightning card, oh my god, is gorgeous. I love the fact that the lightning and thunder is like within the man that's there in the
Mhm.
card. It's the artistry is just gorgeous.
It
I love
is.
art.
And she's so sweet. So yeah, just shameless plug if you're follow or wanting to know more about the deck, follow her on Instagram.
Yeah.
I think the last thing that I'm backing is kind of tarot divination adjacent. I back tarot and oracle divination mats by I'm gonna butcher this name and I'm very sorry, but Zia Hunt on Kickstarter.
Yes, I know who that is. They created the Children of Litha tarot.
Yes, they have all of
I
their
love
stuff
that deck.
is amazing. And the mats, I had to they have a few mats and I had to like calm down because I wanted to back like three of them. So I picked one, but then also I love using coins. They have I think they have 4 or 5 that made the add-ons. So I backed 5 of them. I think it was like 5 out of 7. So I'm hoping they release the last 2. Oh, so excited to add that into just my whole divination thing. And I'm curious to see how I like to mix and match, so I want to see how the coins pair up with the different tarot decks or oracle decks that I have.
Oh yeah.
That would be a really fun journey.
I love their tarot deck. Very expensive. I recently had a conversation about their tarot deck because I received a reading where the person that gave me the reading used that tarot deck in it, and I checked out their shipping or the shipping to Canada, and I calculated the exchange, and for Canadian, it would be like $120 or something like that.
That's too much.
Just for the deck itself and the shipping to Canada. Yeah, it's a lot. That's why I can't afford to buy too many indie decks, unfortunately. I wish I could.
Yeah.
But I can't, because the shipping and the exchange just makes it skyrocket to crazy prices, and right now I can't justify spending $100 on one deck when I can buy like 4 decks for $100.
Exactly. And I understand. I totally understand.
Yeah.
The one time there was actually a Canadian Kickstarter, I was like, shipping. So I get it. I totally get it. Hi, Mamina. Thanks for stopping by, lovely. So anybody listening or watching, whatever, Mina is part of my tarot collab. So go ahead and check out her channel as well. She's an awesome reader. Okay, so I will say too, another thing that I'm excited about, even though I'm not going to get it, is the Lord of the Rings tarot. I'm excited to see flip throughs of it.
Yes.
I don't like pip decks, so it's very disappointing. But I'm still excited to live vicariously through other people. So I'm excited once it's finally released, excited to see all the flip throughs that come through of it, even though I would never willingly pay for a pip deck.
Yeah, I actually don't mind pip decks. Like, I don't mind them at all. I have a few in my collection. They're fine. I actually have that on my wish list, along with like the Horror Tarot and Garbage Pail Kids. These are all from Insight Edition, so thought I'd just throw them in. I'm also excited for Stranger Things. Don't know how they're going to do that, because that one's Netflix, so it's not Disney, right? So I'm curious to see what the rights are like with Netflix, if they'd be willing to give the rights for them to do like a full deck rather than what's going on with Disney and stuff.
The thing about Netflix is they're so inconsistent, so you never know. Even if a previous deck was one way, it varies from it's like based off of the side of the bed they decide to wake up on. But I am also very excited for that. If that is not a pip deck, I will be getting that deck.
Yeah, I guess just watch like flip throughs. That one's set to release September, I think. No, end of August, I think, or something like that. End of August or early September.
But they haven't posted many photos yet, which I'm kind of shocked.
For Stranger Things, they only have a few major cards. One of the pictures has a mistake, like an error on it. The Emperor card says 3 on it instead of 4 as the number.
Oh, so I didn't catch that.
That's a boo-boo right there. I don't know if they realize that and fix it.
I hope they catch it before.
So we will see when someone posts a flip through of that. Maybe someone made a big mistake. So I don't know.
So Mamina was saying that she's half and half when it comes to like, she has a few pips, but it depends how they're designed.
Yeah.
Which I kind of understand, because when I saw the horror deck, I was like, oh, I actually really like this. It's really not my like genre or preference of decks, so I still wouldn't get it. But I do like how they handled the pip cards.
Yeah, that one's fully illustrated. I think only a few cards are less, but they carry the point across in terms of RWS. They're just a little bit less on the imagery.
They're like pip-ish.
Yeah, pip-ish, yeah. But that one is doesn't have a license. It's all original art from Abigail Larson for the
it's
Horror
quite
Tarot. It's not licensed or anything, so.
You know what deck is actually pip-ish and people refuse to talk about it is the Wild Unknown. Like I was flipping through it and I was like, some of these don't have much of anything going on, especially because of the lack of like color and stuff. There's a few of those cards I'm like, this is a fairly pippish card. I think one of them was the Seven of Cups when I was doing the Tower of Extremes. I was like, now that I kind of understand decks better after, because that was my second deck. I was like, okay, you guys kind of lied to us about this. But so yeah, I just kind of thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
So let's see. Anything else upcoming you're excited about?
No, but I wanted to show a few of the decks that I got recently.
Yeah, show us.
So actually 2 of them are already live on my channel, so you can check out the unboxings already. That would be this one here, which is the Guardian of the Night Tarot. This is by MJ. Oh, it's down. Sorry about that. Guardian of the Night Tarot, which is by MJ Cullinane. This is also a new release. It came out beginning of July. It released beginning of July. I already have this unboxed on my channel, so you can see an entire flip through of all the cards, guidebook, things like that. One that I just posted recently was this one. This is the Earth Alchemy Oracle. I love this deck so much. I actually have their other deck, which is not posted on my channel, but it's older. And I absolutely love the imagery of this. It's watercolor, I believe.
Oh, that's gorgeous. It kind of reminds me of a more fully illustrated oh no, what's that deck? That herb deck. There's an oracle and a tarot of it.
I don't know.
It's okay. You keep showing and I'm gonna pull it up.
Okay. Yeah, so let's see, we have this one here. Oh yeah, Hocus Pocus. Yeah, so a thing with Disney though, just to let you know, so Disney is actually involved in the entire process when it comes to their decks. So when it comes to the decks that Inside Edition puts out, Disney is actually involved throughout the entire process. So if the way they handle the pips, they actually need to be approved by Disney. So Disney actually approved everything that was put into the Hocus Pocus, just to let you know. So they wouldn't have done fully illustrations.
And for everybody who isn't familiar, Disney is like they're like militant about their copyright. So
yes,
most Disney decks will probably always be pip going forward.
Yeah, and that's really mainly because
yeah. This is funny.
Yeah.
They're like a mob.
They actually, I spoke to one of the authors on a deck. We had a full conversation about this because a lot of people were blaming her for the
that's so sad
for the thing, and I was like, why? Like, this is not okay. Like, it's not her fault.
It's not.
She was just the author on the deck. Like, calm down.
Right.
So yeah, I talk about this a lot because like it's not okay to blame artists or authors for Disney's decisions on things, but she told me that Disney actually will be they'll be very particular with who they work with. So they will only work with very reputable publishers. So if a publisher has a license and if they have Disney products, like that they publish Disney products, it's because Disney chose them to publish things on their behalf. They also work very closely with everything and need to approve every single step of everything that's put out that has their name on it, like has the name Disney on it. So
they're very, very particular, and it's kind of like, and that's why they work with specific people, because once you get the particulars down, it's easy to just stick with the same, it's just easy to stick with the same, person. But
Yeah. I also think like everyone saying that this was like a rush job. Yeah, probably. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised. Disney likes to put out things right away, but the we all know why they put out a Hocus Pocus deck, right? It's because
Of course.
their second movie is coming out, right?
Exactly. They know what they're
This
doing.
is promotion. This is advertising for you to get
Absolutely.
Disney Plus and watch Hocus Pocus 2 to
Hmm.
prepare for that. That's really the reason why they put
Yeah.
out things that are branding, is because they're promoting something. For example, the Alice in Wonderland deck, that was to promote the was it the 50th? No, it was 75th anniversary of Alice in Wonderland.
Yep.
So yeah, while I do love the decks very much, I actually love my Nightmare Before Christmas deck. I love my Disney villains. I actually
Hmm.
don't mind. Those are more semi pip rather than full pip.
Full pip. Yeah.
They're like mixed. So you have
Yeah.
some cards that are like illustrated and some cards that aren't. I'm okay with that. I don't mind it at all. And I think that those are okay, in my opinion, like for myself. And I love them very much. I use them all the time. But I understand that people are upset with the way things are handled inside
And
editions. But
if you're not
what
familiar
can you
with it,
do,
I
right?
totally understand. Um, and it's funnier that Amina's like, yeah, they've gotten crazier over the years. It's because between like Marvel and stuff, they are more or less a monopoly on a lot of our entertainment now.
Yeah.
A lot
It's
of
all about money. It's all
oh yeah,
about money.
a lot of shows have been bought by Disney over the past,
Oh, yeah.
I would say, over the past 5 years. A lot of things that were, whatever, they've been bought by Disney.
Yeah.
They've bought companies, so a lot of things are going to be harder and harder to get out of that Disney sphere.
Yeah.
So we'll see,
Yeah.
but Sill's over here spitting facts.
Yeah. But also like the comment that R. Isaac said, I think you gotta be a fan to like those decks for sure. Yeah, some of them, yes, 100%. Like I
100%.
watched Nightmare Before Christmas once. I'm not like a epic fan where I'm going to, but I love the deck. Like I love the deck a lot. The
Mhm.
Disney villains I got because it's literally my childhood for me,
Yeah.
because I grew up with a majority of those villains. There was a few of them when I did my unboxing. I was like, who in the world is this? But they came from like newer films, like
Yeah.
a lot of newer Disney films and some that I haven't seen. So I was just like, okay. Or they weren't memorable enough to me even remember the villains.
Yeah.
So I was like, who's
Yeah.
this? But yeah, the OG villains, I was just like, yes, like uh, Mrs. Mim from the oh my god, the Sword in the Stone. That's like a really
Oh,
old,
I don't think I've ever
really
seen that. I
that
was
that
a
movie is
junior
fantastic.
school,
It's actually
so
really funny. It's really funny.
is
It's
it?
really funny. I love it so much. It's like a Merlin meets like not really, I wouldn't really say Arthur. Is the kid named Arthur in that movie? I
Yeah.
don't remember, but
Oh,
yeah.
I think so.
I think so, yeah. So it's like that, but like cartoon version, but really funny. I
It
love
kind
that.
of
And then
gives
like,
me like the Robin Hood, the Fox Robin Hood vibes. It kind of gives me
oh
the
yes,
same sort of.
I love that
If they
also.
created a tarot deck of that, Pip or not, I'd buy it.
Yeah.
If they created an Aristocats tarot deck, it could be all Pips, horrible majors, I'd still buy it.
The majors are usually really well done though with the Disney decks,
Usually.
because they all have the characters in the majors. It's really the court card. It's usually the majors and the court cards that are well done, but like not the minors. Like
Yeah.
one. No,
Oh,
one's usually fine, but like 2 to 10 is usually. But
yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
I'd buy
Me
the
too.
crap
There's a
out of
few
it.
Disney decks I would get. Like if they did Beauty and the Beast, for example, like
Mm-hmm.
Beauty and the Beast in the sense from like the movie, I would get that
Yeah.
because I love Beauty and the Beast, but
Yeah.
I don't
That would
know.
be a popular one. Oh, this is funny. R. Isaac said they pre-ordered the Buffy one too. Just gotta have it. I've
Yeah. So,
never seen an episode of Buffy in my entire life.
oh, I actually have it on DVD. I have that and the spin-off that they did with Angel. I
Yeah,
have
I've
both
never
of
seen
them.
either one. I don't know how that happened, but apparently I just went through some vortex where it didn't exist in my life, and I
It's on
didn't know
Amazon
it was
Prime, so
popular.
you could watch it right now if you have Prime, Amazon
I,
Prime. If you have
I,
like
I feel
the
like I missed
Prime
the
Video.
boat. I rewatched Old
Hey,
Charm, or I say rewatched, but I watched Old Charm
oh
because
yes,
I
the OG
watched New
Charm.
Charmed and I just want to compare.
I don't
they
like
make
the
a new
new Charmed.
Buffy.
How do you like did you like the new Charmed? I didn't like the
I liked it. It was a little social justice warrior-ish, but once they got out of the first season, it was actually pretty good.
Oh, okay. Maybe I should get back into it. I don't know. I love the OG, so
I love this
I grew
comment.
up with the OG.
Oh yeah, a lot of people were like OG over everything, but since I didn't have bye Luna, since I didn't have any benchmark to go off of, I enjoyed a lot of it, but I did go back and watch the original. It was really good.
Yeah. Also, Steph, no, they're not limited edition. They are mass market. You can buy them on Amazon.
Yep. So add them to your list.
Yes, add them to your list. Exactly.
Disney sponsor us.
Yes, Isaacs. I have the same thing. I have DVDs. I have VHS. Like, it's okay. It's all good.
I missed the boat. I missed
We're all
it.
showing our age here. It's all good.
I don't know what I was watching in the 90s. I guess Keenan and Kel and all that, and then I forgot about everything else.
But yes, I was gonna say something about the Buffy deck. Yeah, Buffy. Apparently the person that they hired to do the artist, I think it's the artist that they hire for that deck is actually the person who does the Buffy comics. So the illustrations might actually be really good. I just don't know who owns the rights to Buffy, so I can't tell you if it's going to be Pip mixed or fully illustrated because it depends who owns the rights, right? And I don't know who owns the rights of Buffy. Like I don't know I don't know if it's Disney that owns the rights to Buffy or if it's someone else that owns the rights to Buffy. I have no idea.
Yeah.
So
Mamina was saying that she really wanted to see a detailed deck of Labyrinth, which I think would have been actually really cool as well, especially because shameless plug, the Game of Thrones one, I know different, like everything, whatever, but still pop culture deck was so well done. So well done. So
yeah.
I feel like I'm riding that high and I'm hoping that Stranger Things follows suit.
Who owns the rights to the Labyrinth movie? Does anyone know?
I don't know.
Because I actually have never seen that movie. I know it's from the 80s, but I've never watched it.
Let's see.
Who owns the rights to this? Let's see. Does Wikipedia tell them? No. Let's see. TriStar. Who owns TriStar?
Walt Disney. Walt Disney acquired the Labyrinth movie in 2013. I told you guys they're buying up everything
because they own Columbia Pictures, I think, or they bought Columbia Pictures, I believe, or maybe they own Sony now.
It was through the Lucasfilm acquisition, so I don't know.
Okay,
yeah. I'm not sure about the details.
So that's why. So that's why it's Pip, is because it's Disney. It's owned by Disney.
Come on, you can do it. Come on, R. Isaacs, buy the Game of Thrones deck.
Yes, do it. I have it on my list. I really need to get that deck.
Okay, shameless plug while we're talking about this, right? It comes in this awesome box. This deck is like, let me look it up. I think the deck is like $20
in the US. Yeah, let's see how much.
In the US. I will caveat, I don't know. I don't know what like shipping or prices are anywhere else, but it's $24.95 in the US. And if you have Amazon Prime, you could get it tomorrow. I feel like I'm a QVC right now.
If anyone's watching that's Canadian, it's $32.26 in Canada. See, and that's currently 10% off on Amazon Canada. It's originally $35.95.
See that? Oh, and just for anybody curious, they're having a 10% off sale on Stranger Things as well. We are not sponsored, by the way. We're just literally, I'm just reading what Amazon is telling me. Our Amazon overlords are telling me that Stranger Things is 10% off right now.
Yeah.
But the little book for $24, it's literally a hardback.
That's nice, though. The quality for that price is really good. Like the fact that you have a hardcover book. With the
cards are much more simple, like no frills or anything, but like I don't know why I didn't say this for the cardstock. This is like really great cardstock as well. It's like slightly better version of Wild Unknown, in my opinion. Still thin,
Oh, okay.
same thinness, but a little glossier, just a little. So fairly
Don't you
similar.
have a walkthrough of the Game of Thrones on your channel?
I do.
There you
And I
go.
talk about the cardstock and the shuffleability and all that.
Wanted to watch a walkthrough, you can go watch Cosmics. Another shameless
So
plug.
don't listen to Streamlabs. Sorry, I forgot to turn that off. We are
No,
not
that's
doing
okay.
tarot readings. So, but she said she wanted the tarot deck, but the show ended so poorly that
Oh, I
she
know.
didn't want to relive it through the deck. That's actually hilarious. It's very funny because I got that a lot.
Yeah. Whatever. There's a new
No,
show
I
coming.
get it.
There's a spin-off coming.
Yeah,
What
it is.
House of Dragons or something. HBO series.
My walkthrough is not enough to convince our Isaac to purchase. Most but no cigars.
Put it. I don't know if you can choose this, but you can choose to like notify you when something's a good deal. Maybe you can try to do it with
smart.
that deck and get it when it's on a good sale, like when it's even lower than $20 US.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes that deck goes like low.
Yeah, it does. Actually, a few of the Amazon decks go on sale. In fact, if you don't have the Hocus Pocus deck, but you're interested in it, it's 30% off right now if you're in the US. So that is $17.49.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So and same
That's a
with
good price for the deck, in my opinion. Even though it's PIP. That's actually a good price for a PIP deck.
The Labyrinth is $17.08, 32% off. Disney Villains is 25% off, $18.69. So if you've kind of been iffy about it and you're like, I don't know if I want to pay like $25 for these decks, well,
yeah, just wait until it's on sale.
Now's the time to get some of them.
Yeah.
Actually, a lot of the ones we were talking about are on sale. Modern Witch Tarot is on sale for $13.50 right now.
Yeah, that's a great price because in Canada you can't get it for lower than 24. Like I've seen it on sale for 24. I've never seen it lower than 24 Canadian. So
yeah, so that's a great price.
And I think I got it for 32 or something like that. So
I think I paid full price for the Game of Thrones tarot, but to be honest, I thought it was worth it. I think it was a great deal.
Yeah.
Better than some of the decks that I paid more for, so can't complain.
Oh yes, Llewellyn. Yes, they were having. I don't know if their sale still going. They had like a up to 50% off sale on their website, and they had like so many decks on sale. Even Hay House also had a sale. I don't know if it's still going on, but
Hay House
you can get
a lot of $10 sales.
Oh my god, you can get decks even lower than $10. I think someone told me that they got a deck for like $8 on their website.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, they go really low. Sometimes as low as $5 on their website. That's why I always subscribe to their emails. And I'm like, okay. And then I just try to notify my people. I'm like, here, there's a sale going on. Go. If you want to get decks, not at full price, now is a good time.
Yeah, I'm subscribed to, the newsletter for Hay House, but I just follow Llewellyn on Instagram. They're up to 50% off tarot sale ends on August 23rd. So
okay. So a few days.
There's still time.
Ooh, $7. Nice. Because I got that deck for not full price, but I think it's like 35
usually.
35. Well, that deck specifically, Curious Creatures, is $35.99 in Canada. I think I got it for $30 or something. So $7 is good.
Yeah,
it's real good.
That was a good find. Yeah, sometimes when a deck gets low enough in price, the like price to pretty ratio is in better balance, so I'll buy it.
Yeah.
So I thought this was interesting. Mumina was saying that if something is too pippish or something, she'll add in playing cards to go with it, or anime playing cards to go with it. So I thought that was kind of interesting. I like how people change up things in order to make them work for themselves,
Yeah, that's interesting. That's actually fun, adding in like anime cards. That's interesting.
Never thought to do it. I guess it's the equivalent of us like adding in oracle cards and stuff like that to kind of fill in the details.
Oh yeah. That makes sense. Like mixing in a different type of cartomancy with tarot.
Exactly, just to mix it up. Yeah, Llewellyn, I actually haven't purchased anything directly from USA Games, so I don't like. I just started following them. I haven't
So
checked out their
they
sales
do
or
have good
anything.
sales, but their sales are US only. So if you're not in the
Yeah,
US, you can't take advantage of their sale, unfortunately.
yeah, that is
Llewellyn, however, Llewellyn ships wherever. Like you in North America, I believe they ship to Canada. I believe their sales are usually US Canada only, usually, I believe. And Hay House also, their sales are usually North America only. Sometimes I think if you're not in North America, you can take advantage of their sale. You just can't get free shipping. So in Canada, if you buy
okay.
from Hay House, you can get free shipping if you spend $25.
Okay,
Yeah,
gotcha.
I think it depends where you are and what the limitations are on the sale. That's why when you get like if you subscribe to their newsletters, it's always good to read the fine print, because usually the fine print at the bottom says if it's open to other countries other than North America, like US and Canada.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, Isaacs was saying they prefer the 35% off sales from Llewellyn just because, they tend to have save more during them.
Yeah, you could also use those for those specific sales. You can also because usually it's a coupon, you can get them on pre-orders as well. So you save on
Oh,
pre-orders. I
okay.
know that tarot. I would assume everyone here knows Tarot Oracle, or if you don't, Tarot Oracle is another YouTuber, and he always emphasizes using the coupons that you get for the 35% off sale to use them towards pre-order. So if there's decks that you actually want from them and there's a coupon, to use it towards their pre-orders, because you save money that way
Yeah,
on the
that's
pre-order
really
price.
smart. I never
Yeah.
thought to do that.
Me too. I like their box sets. I love their box sets. I have a few of them.
I don't. Mm,
Other Everyday Witch, I think, is the only one you have.
yeah, I was like, I don't think I have much from them. I think Everyday Witch, Tarot, and Oracle are my only Llewellyn decks.
Yeah, I have a few.
Yes, you do.
Yeah. I actually really love their box sets because of the guidebook. The guidebook is really nice. Very
Yes.
beginner friendly also, if you like their decks.
I like that in Everyday Witch, they have like a space for notes if that's something you want to do. I think that's a really cool and
They do that
thoughtful
in a
thing.
few of their decks, actually.
Really?
I
I
think
think that's such a
so.
great idea.
Let me check the Green Witch guidebook, but I think they do that in a few of their decks. Let's see here. Do they have note
I think
pages?
mine is over there.
Yeah, they do have note pages, but only for the major arcana.
Uh,
Yeah, major arcana only.
I would have to check mine.
This is their older book though, because it's black and
Yeah.
white. It's actual
Yeah.
paper. It's not that waxy paper. So
Mhm.
you can actually write on this. I don't know how well you can write
I
on like
the
the
new books.
the
Yeah.
new
I was
books.
thinking that.
You
I
might need
figured
a
you would need like a
special,
Sharpie pen kind of thing.
probably. Yeah, like their Sharpie's fine tip pens or something like that.
Not to be an enabler, but
Yeah, so they carry, yeah, because they're the official distributor in North America for them, because Blue Angel is headquartered in Australia and Lo Scarabeo is Italian, so they're located in Italy.
Mhm.
So they distribute mainly to Europe and then Australia. So they would need a distributor for North America specifically,
Yeah.
and that's Llewellyn. So the discount can apply to their decks as well, which is great because you can just buy everything from their website.
Awesome. So I feel like we hit all of the points that we wanted
Yeah,
to talk about, and then we had a
yeah.
really fun just rant after.
About price and like random
I
random stuff.
know. I might have to check these out.
I need the vampire one. That's like high on my list. Because it's very
high on
90s. It's very 90s, like interview with a vampire type of
Oh, I might
vibe.
actually like that.
Yeah, the guidebook is apparently absolutely fantastic, apparently.
Really?
Of that. Yeah, it's like super thick. It's like their older one as well. So it's black and white with regular paper.
Mhm.
And it's apparently fantastic. It goes into so much depth for each and every card, apparently.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'll have to check
I don't
that
know.
one
I don't
out.
know if you'd like the imagery of the cards.
I know. I'm so picky.
It's very 90s. So just go into it thinking this is going to be a 90s feeling deck.
Okay. Well, part of the 90s is very nostalgic, and then other parts I'm like, oh God, I don't want to relive it. So we'll see what side of the spectrum that lands on.
Let me know. I'd be interested to hear.
Remind me to check, because as soon as I get off of here, I'm going to have to chase some cats down and I'm going to forget. So
Sure. I'll actually message you.
Okay. So I guess that this is a sign we should start wrapping it up. We've been on for over an hour, so
Yeah.
but it's been such great conversation. So we'll have to think of what our next collab's gonna be. And Isaac,
I already have an idea.
Yeah, I sent you an idea as well, but I will say,
okay.
for those listening, Isaac, Mamina, Steph, if you guys have ideas, things that you want us to talk about in regards to like tarot, oracle, divination, let us know. But we do have some ideas.
Yes, we have quite a few ideas.
And Sill's always a wealth of ideas too. So, but any last minute things before we sign off?
I have nothing. Just don't forget to subscribe to our channel. So again, if you're coming from my channel, be sure to subscribe to Brittany Cosmic Lunar Soul. And if you're coming from Brittany's channel, don't forget to subscribe to me, especially if you're into like tarot and things like that. I actually have quite a number of things coming. I have decks that I'm being sent for review, and I have a series.
Oh, that's right. That's going to be so exciting.
Yeah, and then I have a series that I'm going to be starting soon. And October, I have another series I'm going to be starting that I'm really excited about. So definitely look out for those things as well.
Oh, that'll be really fun.
Can we do this every month?
I was like, well, we haven't thought about it.
I'd be down though.
If we can come up with enough ideas to not bore you guys to death, then why not? Because this is always super fun. And Sil is my tarot buddy to chat all things tarot, and she listens to me to complain about everything. So
I love it. It's always fun.
So that just means you guys have to help us come up with some ideas, and then also, as Steph says, hope you guys have a good rest of your Sunday. And just like Sil said, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe, and we will catch you guys on the flip side.
Bye.
Bye. Happy Sunday.